Excuse me, do either of you gentlemen know the way? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Do either of you know the way to Fantasy of Flight? And they just walk away. But I think it's over there where that water tower is. Yep. It's right over there. Welcome back to the channel. Fantasy of Flight, right off of Interstate 4 in a little town called Polk City. Is one of Florida's most classic, iconic roadside attractions. A man by the name of Kermit Meeks is responsible. He is the owner and founder of Fantasy of Flight. And all the aircraft that you guys will see today in this video is owned by Kermit. This is his private collection, and again, one of the world's largest private collections of aircraft. So excited to be here. I've always wanted to come. I've passed Fantasy of Flight going back and forth from Orlando to Tampa. Every time I've done so, out of the corner of my eye, I've seen the iconic plane on the side of the road that says Fantasy of Flight. And I've always wondered what was inside here. And now that mystery is about to be solved. I had my camera sitting right there on top of that red box for the intro. Again, you see the airplane hangar and the main entrance to Fantasy of Flight on the right. And over here, there's this aircraft. But yep, about to walk right there through the door. Definitely got the vintage Art Deco going. World's greatest aircraft collection. And right inside the door, a rundown of the prices. Check it out. 12 bucks for adults, 10 for seniors, and children, 8. Oh yeah. I was informed inside the office that Fantasy of Flight has gone through many changes over the years. This attraction has downsized. You will see a lot of planes today, but this is just a fraction of Kermit Meeks' collection. He has over 200 vintage aircraft on this property, but this hangar right here is currently the only accessible portion of the attraction here at Fantasy of Flight. All right, here we go. I don't know where to start. There's so much going on. Maybe we'll start over here in the corner. Just work our way out. First up, a 1944 Chrysler V1 buzz bomb designed by the Germans during World War II. This is the aircraft that was responsible for the bombing of London during World War II. That sign says that the Germans launched over 8,000 of them. And this is just sitting underneath the aircraft. Look at that, Weeks Air Museum. This old bicycle you might see in overseas maybe. That's pretty cool. Tucked away in this corner is a little ride for the kiddos, a little attraction. Check it out. Fly the Red Baron. Only 50 cents. Oh man, I wish I had a couple of quarters on me. 1945 North American P-51D. The first Mustangs were designed for the British before the United States entered World War II. And they were powered by an Allison motor. Here's the motor. Here's the Mustang. The P-51D Mustang. And this thing has been up here, taken off from this airport many a times. Kermit actually flies all these planes himself. He is one heck of a pilot, as his employees were telling me here. Top speed 434 miles per hour. Right inside the main door of the hangar sits the Waco Classic YMF-5, according to that sign. It sits right here in front of the main door of the airplane hangar, looking out onto the runway. It says that this plane can fly up to 112 miles per hour and can go about 500 miles on one tank. All kinds of vintage aircraft in here, and also automobile. There's several cars in here. Look at that caddy, classic Cadillac with white wall tires. I'd say 30s. I'm gonna try to track down a year. But check out the grill there. There's the Cadillac symbol. Wow, look at that. I haven't seen a caddy this old in a long time. Orlando Air Force Base. Old license plate. I was hoping to find a date, but I'd say 1930s. Comment below if you know. I'd say late 30s. The 1959 Sylvia Marchetti S56 is one of 8. And I was reading the information on the sign over there, and it says that these biplanes were used by the New York Police Department during Prohibition to try to spot out rum smugglers. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool that Kermit has one here, and it is flyable. All these planes pretty much are ready to roll right out onto the runway. Look at that. Winston Churchill, it says right there by the cockpit. I'd say this used to belong to Kermit's son Jack when he was a kid. Check it out, right there. Looks like he took down some enemy as well. Got him 4. Very cool and cute. That's awesome. For the 1944 B24J Liberator, well, it's going to be hard to put all this into frame, but check out the front nose and the guns right there. The B24 Bombers was the most massively produced airplane in aviation history. Most of these were created by Ford Motor Company. They had a 2-mile long warehouse, and they would crank one of these bad boys up every 55 minutes. They would roll them right out the door, right off the assembly line. This one, 4 motors, just like the B-17, but much powerful and faster. It could go further a distance and had more firepower. Well, looks like we're gonna get to see inside the B-24. This gentleman here by the name of Bill is letting us in.
Watch your head when you get in.
Okay, just pull this back, or do you go up underneath?
The first bombers that had a garage door that opened up
Oh my gosh.
instead of opening it.
Oh, wow, we're inside the B-24. This is awesome. There's the cockpit up there. Or no, wait, this is the tail end. This is where they would keep the bombs, probably. Oh, that's so amazing. This is quite a treat. I'm just gonna stick my head in here. Obviously, I can't climb up there. No, there's the cockpit. There you go, there's the cockpit. That's so cool. Stay in here all day. Very awesome. Now I gotta climb back out from underneath the airplane. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm at the tail. I'm gonna stick my head up in here. Wow. That's awesome. Check out, wow, some of the old equipment's here on the wall. Amazing. Wow. Just letting the camera roll. Experimental. Oh. Oh boy. So we came right down the center of the hangar. I'm gonna hang a right here underneath the 4th motor of the B-24. Here's a World War II era 1945 Willys Overland Jeep with a 50 caliber machine gun mounted right there. Center console, check that out. Sure do love seeing these old Jeeps. It's awesome. I believe this one did roll around in Europe during World War II. Look, it's got a trailer. It's got a trailer in the back. Over against the back corner, there's a couple of cockpit training modules. You would be able to climb in here normally, but because of the situation, we're not going to be able to do that today, but we can still take a look. This one's very cool. And here's an ejection training module, a bailout module, where you'd practice hitting the lever and bailing out in a parachute. Check that out. Here's a better angle. There's the ejection seat right there. So cool. Bail out, Maverick. Watch out, Goose. Watch your head, Goose. Oh. Oh, Goose. Oh, man. That part of the movie. So sad. Nice little joystick there. And a wicker seat.
The story about the wrong Mr. Corrigan is he worked at Ryan Aviation in San Diego, and he helped build the Spirit of St. Louis.
Charles Lindbergh.
So after Lindbergh flew the Atlantic in the Spirit of St. Louis, he wanted to do it. Well, he owns one of these. So he put gas tanks all in the back. He flew from San Diego up to New York. He filed a flight plan for Paris. Well, the FAA laughed at him and said, no, this plane can't make it, so we will not issue you a flight plan.
Right.
He said, okay, well, I live in San Diego, give me a flight plan back to San Diego. He took off from New York. 23 and a half hours later, he landed in Dublin, Ireland.
Wow.
And the guy at the airport said, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I guess I went the wrong way."
And he flew one of these.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a good story. Number 33, pilot Roy Minor. The Miss Los Angeles. Wonder what this thing's all about. This is a replica of Lawrence W. Brown's 1934 Brown B-2 Miss Los Angeles, which made her sensational premiere at the 1934 National Air Races. The designer to this plane was a former pilot bomber who fought against Pancho Villa. Fun fact there. The pilot who piloted the Los Angeles was Roy Minor. He was actually a stunt pilot in Howard Hughes' Hell's Angels film. Another fun fact for you there. A wall of vintage aircraft motors. Just kind of stored up there neatly. Look at that. Wow, there's so many of them. So cool. It's what I call a crate motor. Check it out. They're all ready to go. I'm sure that a majority of these are just spare and cores from previous aircraft out here. I'm sure you experts are spotting them out left and right. Ladies and gentlemen, the iconic Ford Model A coupe. Check out the rumble seat in the back. I called that the rumble seat because you were rumbling over the back wheel. Stick shift, of course. This thing's awesome. It's actually a 1931 Ford Deluxe Model A. To be precise, I saw that inside the door there. I always think of the 32 Chevys during the Prohibition era, the gangster era. Them gangsters hanging off the side here with their Tommy guns standing on the rail. We're just holding them out the window, but notice this is a 4-seater compared to the coupe that we just saw of the Ford. There's no rumble seat in the back of this one, but it does have the trunk, hence the name trunk. Get it now? Bet you knew that, but that's how you got trunk, because it used to be an actual trunk. You probably already knew that though. Okay, still making our way through the museum. There's still so much to see, so much ahead. The black plane you just saw at the end of the last frame is a Beech Staggerwing D-17S with a maximum speed of 212 miles per hour. For a second there, I thought that was the ZZ Top logo. Had to do a double take. I like the design though, I like the colors, black and white. And the nose of the plane's very chromy, shiny. Look at that. Almost missed this one the first time through. Look, the Candy Clipper sits right above this Cadillac. Looks like a seaplane. A Grumman Duck, 1945. The Duck was the first in a long of seaplanes built by Grumman Aircraft. It was based on the earlier amphibian designed and built by Grover Loaning. The first test flight of the Duck occurred in 1933, and it continued to be built through the last year of World War II. And as you can see, this one belonged to the United States Navy. Very cool seaplane here. It's awesome. It's got one wing here and one wing up there. It's a biplane. Kermit's comments: I have been the largest owner of ducks since the U.S. Navy. This was one of my first collectible aircraft. I purchased it in 1983 and is one of my favorites. 1931 GBY Sportster was a race plane and was very distinctive because it was known to having 2 seats and a front detachable windshield that could be removed. GBR2, like R2-D2. 1932. Powered by Wasp Jr. with them Champion spark plugs. Look at that vintage Champion spark plug advertisements there. Look at that 711 Sarah. Must be the pilot's mark. There's also a much smaller version of R2 right over here. It's actually probably the same size as R2. If you turn it that way, it kind of looks like a droid, doesn't it? R2. And a 1931 GBZ sits on the other sides of those first GBs. Built by the Granville brothers of Springfield, Massachusetts. This race plane was built just for the Cleveland Air Races. Check it out, good old number 4, black and yellow. And look over here, City of Springfield, Massachusetts. Powered by, again, P and W Wasp Jr. It's a beautiful plane. Right there's the PGZ where we left off. I'm back in the far corner of the air hangar, and right there straight ahead is a plane that I've been really looking forward to checking out. 1917 Fokker DR-1 triplane. You may know it as the Red Baron plane. Look at that. This is awesome. To the German Flying Corps, Reitmaster Baron Manfred von Richthofen was killed in aerial combat on April 21st, 1918. He was buried with full military honors from the British Royal Air Service. The Red Baron achieved 19 of his 80 victories in this same style of plane. Check it out. Just kind of rolling it. There's the machine gun up there, right in front of the cockpit. It's very cool that he has this, and it is flyable. Kermit takes this thing out. He does a few barrel rolls. See what I did there? If you take a screenshot, it'll last longer. Did you get it? Hope you got it. Hashtag Tampa J. Right across the street from the Red Baron, right across the hangar, a de Havilland DH-4. Kermit's version of the DH-4 has no wings. It's just a skeleton model of it. I'm sure the wings are somewhere in his collection, though. I'm sure he has them, but it's just sitting here like this currently on display. It's very cool. And that's what it would look like with its wings right there. That's the front of the aircraft over there. Notice all the small planes on top of this room here. Some more engines right here below, and this little guy, isn't he cute? Oh man, I would have killed to have had this when I was a little kid. I would have wanted to have it. I don't know if I would have killed, but you know what I'm saying. It's awesome. Type 17 Neoport, the fighter pilot for the Allies during World War I, all wood with a 110 horsepower rotary engine. This thing's made of wood and can climb fast because it was so light. And these were the Allied planes used by France, Britain, and Belgium. And also Italy. Almost forgot Italy. These went into battle beginning in 1916 during the First Great War. Check out the machine gun up there. Look at that. Do not turn the propeller, which that's how you would start this bad boy up. So cool. Another wooden aircraft of the World War I era, Standard E1, was constructed in Elizabeth, New Jersey. You would also hit the propeller to start the engine or pull it. This is pretty much an all wooden aircraft as well. Hardly any steel but the motor on it. 1918 Morane A1. The product of a long line of successful Morane aircraft, entered service in the spring of 1918 in World War I. Top speed, 118 miles per hour. This French plane was pretty much the predominant aircraft at the end of the Great War. I tried. And the last airplane we haven't seen today, the Polkarpov, I can't pronounce that, Polkarpov. Someone's gonna, that's a tongue twister. World War II Soviet aircraft, nickname Ishak. Ishak is Russian for donkey. So you're looking at the donkey. Check it out there. It's capped off, but I believe that's the machine gun nozzle there. Look at that. This will be the last plane you will see inside the hangar today. Wow. Check it out. I'm just going to do a pan. You can make out some of the aircraft we saw today. Oh wait, there's one more. I lied. There's one more below me. 1944 Bochum Natter Viper. Constructed by the Germans at the end of World War II. This was a piloted bomber and would fly over 600 miles per hour, climbing 37,000 feet per minute before dropping its load, before dropping a bomb. But that's pretty much it. That's the whole museum right here inside of the hangar. There's a gift shop I'm about to walk through and show you a few more things. And then we're gonna go back out into the runway where I parked. Yeah, check it out. Fantasy of Flight. I've had a really good time here. The gentleman walking around, showing me around. There's two Bills here. I say two Bills as in there's two guys named Bill, and they're both guides, and they will gladly answer any questions that you have about this facility, this museum, the aircraft. They are very knowledgeable. So come out, tell them I said hello, tell them Tampa J sent you if you come. But yeah, check it out, Fantasy of Flight. Really enjoyed my time inside this hangar today. Learned a lot. It was delightful. Thank you, Kermit. Really appreciated all you had to show me today. Looks like there's a kid's book called The Little Racer available now in the gift shop. All of Life is a School by Kermit Weeks. He wrote it. You wrote that. That's delightful. Yep, Kermit's an author. Look, he's written several books. That's the one we saw in there. GBZ's The Little Racer. That's the GBZ black and yellow number 4 there. And The Spirit of Lindy by Kermit Weeks, which we know the Spirit of St. Louis was flown by Charles Lindbergh. And his nickname was Lindy, so I'm sure that's what that's about. And look, another book by Kermit Weeks, Overnight Success. All kinds of cool t-shirt with aircraft on it. Look, P-51 Mustang shirt. And I noticed down here, I've got a tribute to Red Baron. Motherfucker. Look at that. Of course, you know, as we learned before, Red Baron's last name was Fokker. Old Fokker. Motherfucker. And Little Fokker. I love the carpet in here. It's very aircrafty. Aviator. Look at this guy too. Now they had a presentation in the theater behind this dude, but it's not going currently. That's the old theater back there. This guy sits right before the entrance. Fantasy of Flight. That which draws us beyond what we think we are to become more of what we truly are. Well said.
Yeah, $14.95.
No access. Oh darn. I wish we could go out there and check this one out. That's awesome. And across the airfield here is a portion of Fantasy of Flight that you used to be able to go inside of too. And there are more airplanes currently being stored in there, more of Kermit's collection. But this is currently the only portion of this attraction you can encounter, the airplanes inside this hangar. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed it, give me one of these right down there. I appreciate that. Thanks for tagging along with me out here at Fantasy of Flight, Kermit Weeks Place. And if you want to know more about Kermit, the museum, and his airplanes, check out the website. I'll put a website to Fantasy of Flight in the description below the video. But it's time for me to end it. It's time for me to fly on back to Tampa Bay. But I'll see you guys soon. Even though this one's over, there's still much ahead. See you next time. Bye-bye, y'all. Stay safe out there. Be cool. Be awesome. As we're exiting Fantasy of Flight, these signs mark the trail. Along the trail, the next step you take beyond these gates is the next step on your journey. It's much ahead, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.